Okay, so my name is Barry Hawkins, and my lightning talk is tips for introducing change. Since we talk a lot about new and exciting things to do with your development teams, change is something that I find that developers often need help with. I'd initially subtitled it Social Lubricant for Geek Interpersonal Skills, but I found that the mention of the word lubricant engendered facial responses that led me to retitle it to The Geek's Guide to Improved Implementation of the Human Interface. So, first one, keep a long-term perspective. Very often I find that our highly technically savvy guys come in to present change and they think that the revolution is going to happen in the next 5 minutes. When you're implementing change, especially change that's going to involve something significant like changing your development methodology, realize it's going to be an incremental thing. Don't go in expecting the big win and then you're heartbroken when you're basically told, good, we'll keep that in mind, come back to us next month. Second, present your offering in terms of its value, not its implementation. I can't tell you how many times I've had someone say, okay, now go tell them what we're going to do. And the guy says, so, what do you want to do? And they immediately jump into the technical implementation and the guy's eyes glaze over and he has no idea. He's like, wow, that's, okay, cool, send you out of the room. Put something in terms of what it's going to do. Don't tell them we're going to use annotated Spring because we'll have fewer errors with our configuration files. Tell them that our typical time to introduce order changes will drop from half a day to an hour and a half. They tend to buy into that. Never underestimate how boring you can be. Most people could care less about how brilliant you are or the elegance of your solution. Stick to the facts, keep it short, you'll keep their attention. Personal hygiene matters. Few things will increase the resistance to accepting your change than that. We've all heard that no one cares what you know until they know that you care. I have a subsequent to that, which is no one cares what you know or that you care if they find you repulsive. In light of that, let's look at some of your friends. Dental floss, daily, is your friend. The toothbrush, a close cousin. Mouthwash, their pretty sister. And conditioner. Conditioner, this is a controversial one. Most guys realize that it should be shampoo. Some of you are using ivory soap on your hair. We're going to talk about that when we look at what are not your friends. Excess hair, typically not the hair on the scalp, but more from the nose, brows, or ears. Nothing will take people's mind off what you're saying like that. Halitosis, it's really hard. If you see someone leaning back, but you're not leaning forward, it may be something else unseen. Food particles on clothing. Nothing distracts them like trying to guess, was that lunch or was it breakfast? The hair dryer. The hair dryer and conditioner. Introduce conditioner. Get rid of the hair dryer. When you fry your hair or don't use conditioner, it causes your coiffure to extend the class Brillo pad. And people generally have more fun looking at your hair and talking about that than looking at what you're doing. So prove before you preach. Have a couple of small wins and then tell people how you won if you're introducing a particular kind of change as far as a framework and that sort of thing. So speaking of, beware the use of proper nouns, meaning things like anything driven anything. You're going to trigger people's negative stereotypes. Refactoring. That's the most universally rejected term I know of today. Agile. Actually, agile might top refactoring. Use of these sorts of things tends to trigger people's stereotypes, which sometimes end up being negative, engendering responses that I'll express in terms of a few popular acronyms. OMG, LMAO, WTF, NFW, FFS, and GTFO. Also, in introducing change, know your political landscape. It's really important to know who you should be talking to about change. Talking to the person who can't do anything about it is, to use a phrase of my dad's, pissing up a rope. So avoid that. Don't oversell, either in terms of capacity or capability. People are very tempted. We're very tempted when management are pushing us, okay, well, what can this do? We've got to really make it sound good. So we either say we can do it faster than we can, or it's going to do more than it really can. So avoid that. Lastly, this is a good one. Realize when things aren't a fit and move on. If you've been trying to introduce change in your organization and they just are like, no way, man. Ask yourself the question, is it time to move on? And friends, that is it.